something that I think can be like extremely beneficial. There's actually a quite a few times I've done a video on this on YouTube. So if you do search for it, I actually tried searching for it. I was going to pull it up and share it with you guys. I couldn't find it. It goes back probably years. This is a setup that I've watched for and discussed for years and years and years. And so I am going to redo that video and make a current updated video for that. So then new subscribers and people that are just joining me are able to find it. We're going to be talking about pivoting as maybe the morning session didn't quite work out for you. There were some issues. The market was stronger or weaker than expected, or a potential reset trade is just way too far away. That's like the next level up. And this will all make sense once we dive into the charts. So let's dive into the charts. One sec, folks. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so we had SPY and Qs here this morning, and SPY's levels were really far away. If you take a look, you can see that the first level is just pre-market highs, and SPY's pre-market highs was because of Q's pre-market highs, and Q's actually kind of top ticked a trend. If you take a look here, this first level, this 473.80 level is actually a major trend level. Okay, so it is a level that we were watching, but it's very easy for it to squeeze out because of all of the pre-market volume. Now, there was a Fed announcement, an FOMC at 2 p.m., and that can cause issues like this. And generally speaking, okay, so I'm going to set the tone for you here a little bit, guys, because there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of moving pieces to today's trade to get me green. So I locked in $6,818. But on this last trade, I actually made more like about 11,000 in total. I needed to take care of a loss in the morning. So let's discuss this. So please try and follow along the best you can. So we have this level here on Qs. That is a sound level. We have a Fed announcement coming out at 2 p.m. It pops up. There's going to be a lot of people shorting that area. So it holds and it squeezes. And this is what happens here. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I discussed this live on screen share. So right here, when you start trading in this tight range, the mechanics of that is due to shorts. So what happens is you'll have shorts get into this level, which we did as well. It's a valid resistance level. There's nothing wrong with that. And what happens is it gets held up. So when it pulls back, it doesn't do anything. So nobody pulls profit. It continues up. Most day traders or shorts will add a little bit, and that's completely acceptable. We have tons of range on the day. We have a gap up. We have a valid resistance level. It's acceptable. So once it pulls back, you're going to have retail traders, because they're so heavily emotional in these trades. What they end up doing is they don't pay themselves. Some do, some don't. The professional ones do, because it's coming back into a level, whether you're in a lot of profit or not, you need to pay yourself into, if resistance now becomes support because it got over, you have to pay yourself. So the professional ones do. And of course, on short cover, it comes back up. Okay, so when it comes back up, now you're going to have the traders that didn't pull profits start to get spooked out, because they're going to add, their position becomes greater. And when it pulls back again, it's like a revolving door of shorts missing their opportunity. Okay, so that kind of sets the tone for this. Once it pulls back to this level the last time, and we have a bunch of time that has went by, you're going to have shorts starting to give up, because the market isn't giving up and it's not pulling back. So what happens is the squeeze, and that's what happened. But it was kind of a bullshit squeeze, and it kind of popped up a little bit. So I gave it a little bit more time. I'm comfortable with having a little bit bigger loss than expected if this thing isn't confirming that strength as it should, and it wasn't. It didn't do that. So finally, I stopped out right in this area here. I locked in about a $4,100 or $4,200 loss. And that's fine. That's an acceptable loss for a trade like this with tons of speed, tons of distance. I had quite a bit of size on it. So no big deal. Now, I'm not freaking out because then I know that there is another level. If we start to squeeze out here, SPY has this upper level way up here. Now, that's way, way far away. So now I need to do charting. I need to break out my charting tools and get to work because there's generally another level that a person is missing. And I found it. And I'm going to show you that level. That level is right here. There is a mini trend here, and that is the only other level available. So I marked it out. Now I'm waiting for that, okay? So if you take a look, that level is 476.75 on Qs. SPY's other level is way too far away. So I hope you guys are following here. I know this is a lot, but if you pay attention, this is extremely valuable information. So that is the only other available resistance level, okay? So I marked it out. I marked that level out around, I don't know, around 10:30, 11 o'clock market time, okay? So then I know, okay, that level's still pretty far away. So I have time to go about my business. I go up to my farm and then I come back. Now I'm watching this thing. Now I know that that Fed is coming as well. And there is text back and forth. I could share with you, but I'm not going to do that, about the manipulation that is going on between me and Adam. I'm discussing this, and this thing is going to have a big move either way. And what is most likely going to happen, it could squeeze out a little bit further, but what's generally going to happen is a bigger move down, and I'll tell you why. This big gap up, because of the Fed, the potential Fed news, people are perceiving as like, they're pricing in that good news, okay? People are they know that good news is probably coming along with the Fed. Now, this is where people fuck up with the information that they get. They'll always perceive good news as good, it will go up. And that's not the case. What generally happens is opposites in the stock market. You're going to have good news be bad. And I'll tell you why. Because it gets priced in very early in the morning. So even if that Fed announcement isn't as good as expected, it could be good news, but if it is not fantastic news, it's going to sell off. Okay, now shorts are going to get squeezed out first, and then it's going to sell off. And that's exactly what happened later on. But I want to show you something really interesting. You see where that level is? This level is not placed after the fact, my friends. That is placed at about 10:30, 11 a.m. when I did that charting and I discovered that level. So taking the loss in the morning, I know the only other available level that is viable is there. If it triggered before, I would take that trade, no problem. And then as time is going by, I'm noticing it's 3 p.m. And this is where what I initially said in this video comes into play. Now, I've discussed this for years. It's the 315 play. And what happens in and around 315 to 330 is brokers will clear retail traders' trades because they don't have overnight buying power. And that's going to happen on stocks. So you're going to have traders that don't have the accounts to back the position that they have. And because the market is strong, that is people that are looking essentially to look and ride this market up. And because it gave so many opportunities during the day to add in and average in and everything else, that's what's going to happen. You're going to have a sell-off. Okay, so I'm aware of this. Now, some of you may be wondering, well, how do you know? Because I've been doing this a long time and I've watched this happen so many times, it would blow your mind. In fact, like I said, there is multiple videos on YouTube that you can go and take a look and you can see. I've talked about this for the last 8 years. Okay, it is a sound setup that people make a lot of money off of because of the education I've given them. So I know this, right? So as it starts coming up into that level, okay, I know that that's my goal level. I need to get in all of my size by the time that level triggers, so I need to get in before, not too much before, but I need to get in before. And that's what I do. I start averaging in. I see the time. It's after 3 p.m. We're starting to squeeze. Everything is lining up beautifully for me. And that's what I do. I start entering into this trade. I am shorting it. Boom, it starts selling off because the brokers are now clearing those positions for the overnight hold. People do not have the overnight buying power that they need in order to hold overnight, and it sells off. Bingo, bango, all these puzzle pieces now come together, and I just turn my red morning into a beautiful green trade. Now, people often ask or wonder or question how I am green every day. This is how, folks, because I take pride in what I do and I take this career serious. And when you do those things and you pay attention and you do your due diligence and you treat this like a professional career, meaning I had a morning that didn't go as expected, I'm not going to pout like a baby. I'm going to find a solution to the problem. There is always a fucking solution to the problem. And when you understand that as a trader, you are completely unstoppable. So, like I said, that is the trade. That's how I made this happen. And I hope you guys listened and enjoyed this, because there is a lot of information in this. And if you watch this a few times and you start to understand it, don't just try and immediately implement the information I'm giving you to go try and make money. You won't. You're probably going to fuck it up. That's okay. Start looking at the market, watching for these things. Let it prove it to yourself. Don't take some stranger's word for it and start throwing your fucking hard-earned money at the market. Watch it, and you're going to start to see, oh shit, it does do that on those specific days. So if you want to learn to be a consistent and profitable trader, and you want to learn from a professional, come to tricktrades.com. Remember, this is just the free stuff that I give out. Never mind the stuff that happens behind closed doors, folks. So if you enjoyed this, make sure to give a like and a thumbs up and all that fun stuff, and subscribe. Share these videos. I'm sure all of your trader friends can find this information useful. And on that note, folks, I hope you have a wonderful evening. Adios.